Satan was the first professional marketer. There's these weird moments I have where I'm like, you're driving, and I had this epiphany as I'm driving home after teaching a lesson on Genesis 3 where I'm like, Satan was the first marketing guy. I worked in marketing for a bit professionally. I'm excited about like some components of marketing. Some of it I see as like, we're getting sold stuff like every other second. If you're driving, there's an ad on a bus, there's an ad on a door, there's an ad on your face, there's a guy driving a car. What's on the car? There's an ad. On one hand, I think the good part of marketing is just telling people about the cool stuff that you're doing. Like me making these videos and getting them out there is a little bit of just marketing. That's great. Let the people know. You gotta let the people know. On the other hand, though, there's this side of marketing that feels borderline like deception.
Play California Dreamin'.
From Spotify, here's California Dreamin' by the Mom.
And that's the part that I don't like, and I feel like that's the part that we can learn a lot from in Genesis 3. All right, so what is Satan actually marketing in Genesis 3? No, he's not marketing Apple, so I don't want any crazy conspiracy people coming in the comments. That's not what's happening here. Satan is marketing is actually spiritual. He's marketing something that makes Adam and Eve question what God has told them they need to be flourishing, full human beings. And so you have this moment where Satan shows up to Eve, and he's like, hey, you see that? You see that? You should eat it. And so Eve's like, no, I can't. No, God said not to do that because I'll die. This is the marketing move that Satan pulls. You will not surely die, for God knows that when you eat of it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil. Here's what's weird about Genesis 3. It almost feels like Satan is actually telling the truth, because what happens when Adam and Eve eat the apple? Do they die instantly? Like they don't go Sleeping Beauty and like, and like that's it. They bring death into the world through disobedience to what God commanded, which is don't eat it. And then they ate it. However, the marketing spin that Satan puts on this is, well, he isn't fully truthful about the kind of death that God was talking about. Like, imagine this. Imagine Genesis 3 from this perspective. Satan comes up to Eve and he's like, hey, you should eat that apple. And she's like, nah, God said not to, because if I do, I'll die. And Satan's like, well, you're not going to like literally die as in you take a bite and you fall over on your face dead, but you will die in the sense that like you're going to cause a ripple throughout the rest of humankind that will, cause them to have mental health disorders and cancer and fires to be started and world wars and all sorts of like, yeah, like that's how you're going to die. You want to bite? This is a huge lesson, not just for like Christian marketers, but really like if you're a non-believer out there, I think just to even take this into account. So Satan takes something that seems like it could be true and then magnifies it to feel like it is 100% true. And I feel like that's what marketing in our modern age that feels sleazy. Like we should be aware of the stuff that like when we hear it, see it, whatever, it makes our skin crawl, because I think there's something in there that we should be like, ooh, that person, that company, that business, that enterprise, that whatever, they are not out for my good. They just want something from me. And in this instance, Satan isn't actually trying to help out Adam and Eve. Satan is trying to destroy what God has made. He is trying to do something for his own sake, for his own benefit. And in the marketing world, that's what people are doing, right? They're trying to spin stories. They're trying to say things in a way that, well, if I just frame it this way, people like buy into it, even though this thing isn't actually good for them. I think that's a really slippery, dangerous slope for us to be playing on. And my prayer would be that we would become cognizant not only of how we're marketing things and selling things, but like how people are marketing and selling things to us. Because how many things, not even just products or services, but other stuff that people tell us are essential for our human flourishing, right? When someone is able to tell you, you need this and your life isn't complete or you're missing something until you have this, that's not a godly, healthy, human flourishing message. That is a satanic, evil message. Sounds like strong language. I get it. But I do think that there is something in there that like we need to be really careful about buying into the things that other people are selling us, and being more intentional about like who we buy from and why we buy from them. My fellow level 1 entrepreneurs out there, I think this is really important for us to be really honest, like when we're selling and making things. And if like we make mistakes or our product needs work, like fix it. I don't know why we have to put a marketing spin on telling the truth as like being authentic or like, you know, oh, we're all about 100% transparency. That was my Gary Vee 100% transparency. You know, like just tell the truth. And I don't know, maybe that would solve a lot of our problems. I rambled a lot. I don't know if that made any sense. But anyway, this has been Josh with Seraph Punk. Hopefully this was encouraging, uplifting, challenging, something in some capacity. I'll see you later.